All right. Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and today is Twab Day, and so I'm going to cover all of the Bungie news for you. I've already read through the entire article 3 times. I've summarized everything. Let's go ahead and start from the top, all right? The first thing we're going to talk about is they're going over Moments of Triumph, Trials Labs Freelance, and some quality of life updates with this week's Twab, and it's all really interesting stuff, okay? Before we jump right into it, we have the Game to Give charity event that they're doing. So if you donate a certain amount, you can get this emote right here. If you donate a different amount, you get the ship, and there's 2 different emblems that they're giving out as well. It just depends on how much you donate. You can get those rewards if you want to do that and want to support a good cause. Next up, they're going to talk about Trials Labs Freelance. We have no quest needed from now on, so they're going to try and make it a little more open to new players to jump into Trials and play some freelance, get into some PvP. Hopefully this ends up being a good thing overall. I do see this as having potential to open the door for, I guess, maybe more cheaters to come in, but you would still need to own Beyond Light, so probably won't be that many more cheaters necessarily, but it definitely always gets scary when they allow the door to open a little more wide for new players to come into Trials because of the cheater situation and the epidemic that we had back in the day. But I think this is a good thing overall. No quest is going to be needed. Hopefully more people will be playing Trials. They also talked about, obviously it's going to be freelance this week, and then they're going to do another Zone Trials iteration, and then I think another solo Trials before the Witch Queen. So we have a lot of different Trials labs and experiments going on between now and the Witch Queen. So hopefully Trials will stay fresh and interesting through this extended season. Next up after that, we're going over the Moments of Triumph 2021. There's some pretty cool loot coming from this. We got this Emblem, Ghost, and Sparrow here. So if any of that looks enticing to you, and if you like to grind out Triumphs, if you're one of those Guardians out there, this loot is there for you. Me personally, I don't really grind Triumphs too much, so I won't be doing much of this, but it's there for you if you want to grind out that stuff. Next up is a really big one, a really crazy change. Armor mods. Let's talk the Glim Glam, it says. And basically, the big change that's going to be happening is that you're no longer going to need Glimmer to swap your mods. Right now, I believe it's 500 Glimmer. You swap your mods out. And so, you know, when you swap from using an SMG to using a hand cannon, you have to swap all those mods respectively for PvP. Or when you go from PvP to PvE, you have to swap all those mods, and it just costs so much. It gets a bit taxing, and it just seems very excessive and unnecessary. I've made several videos talking about this. And so it's going to be really cool to be able to swap mods out without any Glimmer cost in the future, which is really exciting. It's going to help a lot with build crafting. And one other thing that will be really cool in the future is that there's features like in Dim, Destiny Item Manager, that you see me use a lot. They have like loadout savers. So you can save a loadout and pick the exact loadout. And with the ability for the third-party apps to now put mods on your armor and take mods off your armor, it's going to mean that basically with the click of a button, you can go from your full PvP armor and keep that armor on and take all the mods off and turn it into your PvE armor and adjust accordingly. For example, like if I have a helmet that's like a 68 stat roll helmet and I really want to use this helmet for both PvE and PvP, but the gauntlets and everything else need to change, it's very hard and tedious to swap all that stuff around, swap all the mods around. It becomes a bit of a hassle, right? Well, with Destiny Item Manager loadout savers, it's going to be really crazy. It probably won't be available week 1 when this comes out, but it will be really crazy in the future. I'm really excited to see how much build crafting increases because of this change. It's actually a really good change. Next up, they talk about a note to their third-party apps. So there's a lot of different third-party apps out there. I'm sure some of you use them. Comment down below which third-party apps are your favorite ones. I use Destiny Item Manager. I use Light.gg. I use D2 Gunsmith. I use probably all of them at some capacity, but those are just kind of the 3 big ones that I use at this point in time. And they're giving all of them an emblem, so they're going to be contacting them and giving all of those third-party app developers an emblem in-game to show, you know, their support. It's called the Parallel Program Emblem. So if you see anyone rocking this emblem, make sure to give them an emote and appreciate them for all the work they do with those third-party apps, because those things really help and enhance my experience, at least in Destiny, and probably yours as well too. Next up, they talk about photosensitivity changes. There's a lot of photosensitivity issues within Destiny. It definitely feels like there should be some seizure warnings sometimes when you're shooting, you know, 1,000 voices and these screen explosions and all this stuff. It definitely can be hard to see things. So they're going to do a bunch of photosensitivity changes here. They list all of that. I'm not going to go over all the details because, you know, it's pretty nuanced there. Next up, we're going to talk about the Blind Well. This one's actually really big. Dreaming City weapons now drop more from the Blind Well, which is going to be really cool, especially if you want to farm out a god roll of the Vouchsafe. That's a really good Scout Rifle to grind for, and the Retold Tale will also be really good. Those are probably the 2 most like worthy weapons to grind for from this. So drop rate's going to be increased from that. So maybe you have better chances of getting a god roll, unless you're me, because I never get any god rolls, I swear, from that Blind Well. And then after that, we're going over exotic ornaments, previews, and purchases. This one's a really cool one. So here is going to be the Lemonarque ornament right here. And then there's going to be a new slot that they're going to have here where when you inspect the ornament for a respective weapon, it's going to show you all of the ornaments, the ones you've locked, or the ones you've unlocked, and the ones that you haven't unlocked yet, right? So that way you can decide, you know, if you want to pay for it right then and there versus having to go to the store, the Eververse store, buy those ornaments, equip them, etc. This is going to be a much more streamlined way. And, you know, I mean, it's a pretty smart business move from Bungie, right? Because then they can get more people to buy the ornaments, etc. because it's right there in front of you versus having to go to the store. So it's probably a win-win for everyone with that. And also, everyone voted, and this is going to be the new ornaments going to come out with this, and that do be looking very sexy. I do be liking that a lot. Can't wait for that Lemonarque ornament. Next up, they talk about Rusted Lands. They're bringing back some explosive boxes in there. The Corrupted is getting a bunch of changes, and it's going to be just a much better strike after this. A bunch of quality of life changes. Going to make it much more reasonable to beat this. I could go over all the different things, but honestly, when you play Corrupted the next time and it's a GM, it's going to feel a lot better. Overall, from start to finish, they're basically just making it a lot more streamlined and a much better strike. So a lot less bugs and weird things that happen. So I'm excited for that. Can't wait for the Corrupted, the update there with that. And then next, they're going to talk about the Dune Marchers. So the Dune Marchers are an exotic pair of Titan boots. Obviously, you know these if you've played any PvP at all. They chain from like 20 meters away. They sometimes double chain, and they chain from dead bodies. They're fixing both of those features. They won't be double chaining anymore, and they won't be chaining off of dead bodies. So some big changes to Dune Marchers. It sounds like they'll still be really powerful, though, which is good because I feel like it's kind of a staple to the Titan's identity right now. I didn't know if they were going to actually nerf the range of them, but it seems like they're not nerfing the range of them. So just the bugged aspect of them. So we'll see how good they are after that. They should be still really good. Next up, we're going to talk about Icefall Mantle. Stasis Overshield can now be canceled by pressing the class ability input more than once. That'll actually be really cool, little buff to the Icefall Mantle if you've ever rocked that. It can definitely be a bit problematic being stuck in that mode for a while. After that, they're going to talk about crossplay, text chat check-in. So right now, if you're doing a text chat and you're doing crossplay, anyone who's on PC can see your text chat, and anyone who's on console cannot. Like I was just doing a Last Wish raid, and we're at the vault in the Last Wish, right? And I'm like typing in, you know, dragon with spear in its feet and whatever, right? So that way everyone knows where to take the Taken Antumbra or Penumbra and all that. But the Xbox player in our fire team couldn't see any of it, so he had to just clear the ads for that one. So definitely a nice added text chat for console. Excited for that. And then we're going to talk about the Twitch bounty emblem. So if you, after starting December 16th, if you gift 2 subs to my stream right now, I'm just saying, or any stream, you'll get this emblem, which is really cool. And I would really appreciate anyone who does click the Twitch link, smash the follow button, and subscribes and gets this emblem. I will definitely be getting this emblem myself. Very exciting and cool to see Bungie supporting the Twitch streamers out there, showing us some love. Next up, they're talking about a bunch of different bugs and patches that are coming up, lots of known issues and such. You can read through that if you want, but you know, there's always bugs in the game. They're fixing that stuff. Then they go over the movie of the week. Then they go over the artist of the week. Some pretty cool artists out there. Some pretty cool stuff. And that is going to be a wrap on this week's TWAB. 5 more days until the big 30th anniversary event. Let me know your thoughts about the TWAB, what news you found the most interesting in this video, and make sure to subscribe here with notifications on and smash the like button. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.